Good morning, Wanderlust industry subscribers and viewers, and if you're not a subscriber but you're viewing this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell while you're there so you get a notification for all the other videos we're going to be making in the near future. This is part 2 of Matt Harvey's interview. If you haven't seen part 1, that's about his career in the KE70 that he owned, still owns, and we go over some exciting stuff in that video. It's really good. Go and check it out. I'll put a link up in the description up here or down below, or it'll be somewhere. You'll be able to find it. Go and look for it. Anyway, this is part 2 about his S13 and the career that he's had in that. But while I'm here, check out where we camped last night. How beautiful is this? Look at the view we had waking up this morning out the window. Over the ocean, beautiful Bass Strait, lovely. Anyway, here's the video. I just thought I'd throw this in there. It had to be split up to be 2 parts because it was just super long. Matt had a lot to say, and I'm good mates with him, had lots of good conversation. I've cut lots of it out, so this is as short as it could be. But this is Matt Harvey, take 2, part 2 interview. Go and watch it. Here it is. Right, so we're over here now with Matt's Sylvia. Now this thing is an absolute demon. It's got a 2.2 litre stroked SR20 in it. Yep. Massive amount of power. How much power has it got now?
So currently it's making 400 kilowatts. 400
kilowatts,
yep.
So that's around the 550 horsepower mark?
Yeah, it's about 560 horsepower.
560 horsepower, and that's at the wheels, not the engine. So you're talking a lot more that's in here than what there is coming out of the wheels. Very successful sort of career since you've had the S13.
Yes.
And you've been all over the country with it. So yeah, give us a rundown. Like, what was your first sort of event that you won with it, up to what you've done with it since?
Right. So when we built this car, this was going to be the replacement for 3 events until we rebuilt the Corolla. And 5 years later, it's still going. So,
the Corolla's not finished.
The Corolla's not finished whatsoever. So. No, the plan. So this was originally just a backup car and just have fun from it.
Yep.
So, but that very quickly took over to be the full-on competition car. So
now is this one that you bought off the Holloways?
Yes. So
you did buy it off the Holloways.
I did buy it off the Holloways.
Wow.
It was $3,000. Had a CA18, which I used for 1 event, and then I got rid of it pretty quickly. It was a CA18. And it was still running after the event, so I was like, yep, it's still running, sell it.
Sell it?
Yeah, so after that we took it to disco tune. He pretty much did all the fab work to the front, dropping engine in, intercooler. We had a AGI cage, I bought off AGI, full bolting cage, so we put in there. It was pretty simple for what we had, so
yep.
I had just the drop-in fuel pumps for the tank, so it was only just a Walbro 460, and that was 300 kilowatts straight up. So there's no big fuel system in the back. There's only just 2 lift pumps in the tank, and that's it.
Is that still like that now, or
yes.
I haven't actually seen in the boot?
There's nothing in there. So
there's nothing in there, so it's just stock.
Stock tank. Oh, not stock pumps, but it's just 2 pumps, just mixing steel one. So
yep.
The only real reason you go real big fuel system. If you crash the crap out of the rear end, then you need to obviously tube rear end. You might as well do that as well.
Yep.
That's what we've found.
Cool. Now, what size injectors are you running to run 2 pumps and get that sort of power?
So we're running 2300s.
2300s, and it's running on E85?
Yep, E85.
Yep.
So yeah, we pretty much went to Brado Boost and we said, what's the biggest injector you can get for a 4-cylinder? 2300? Yep, we'll do that.
Done. Now, what ECU are you running in this now?
So we were running a Adaptronic ECU.
Yep. Yeah, the same one as what I used to have in my Supra.
We used to have a plug-in one.
Yep.
But we decided that there was other stuff we wanted to do, so we wanted to run a dash and stuff like that. So we decided to go a Motec.
So you've gone Motec now?
Gone Motec now. So,
yep.
And that was just a tune-up, just to go, hey, I can see more stuff, and I have the program on the computer ready to go. So we go, yep, we'll just do that. And just fail safe, just in case something happens.
Yep. So who's your tuner now for this?
So we take most of our work with Disco Tune now, just because he does all the does all the engine work, does all the gearbox work. So, and he's finally got a dyno, a hub dyno. So which we found is a lot better.
Might actually have to hit old Dave up to see if he'll let me do a bit of a tour video of his workshop, because that's a pretty impressive setup that he's got now.
Yeah, from what he had, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So
it's good.
Busy man, that Dave.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But only reason he's busy is because he's good at what he does.
Very true.
Really good at what he does.
And every single person I know goes to him.
Yeah.
That can afford him.
Yeah, that's right.
The convenience and the great work he does.
Yeah, and he knows the cars. And he knows drifting.
He knows drifting.
Once the Corolla's done, is that going to be taking over this the drifting scene, or are you going to use this dedicated for drifting still?
So this is going to be a full dedicated drift car.
Yep.
So this is going to be full competition. We're going to try and get more high-level competitions in Australia. So we're waiting, just pretty much waiting for them. But DCA is having a year off, so we thought, let's do all the stuff to it now. So
what are you going to be competing in this year?
So this year they're supposedly doing a state series.
Yep. For DCA.
So for DCA TAS. So we're going to do the DCA TAS series.
Yep.
And then in July we're going to the Darwin invitation only event.
Yep.
In Darwin. So we're going to try and go up there and see how we go with the little SR.
Now there's some big power cars up in Darwin too.
Very, very big power cars in Darwin. They like their horsepower.
They do.
Apparently also like the heat. We'd have to change the cooling system in this, or at least get water spray, because it's going to be bloody hot.
Yeah, it will be. Cool. What's the best modification you've done to it, do you think?
Like the Power by Max front end. Can't fold it whatsoever.
But your steering setup, Power by Max?
So the steering, so we've got the lower control arm. So it's the version before the Power Max limit brake.
Yep.
Kit. So it's got the knuckle, the lower control arm, and the toe arm. And I've done some crazy entries in this thing, and it's just come back every single time. So I would not fault this, and I would run Power Max in every single time.
What brakes do you run on this thing?
Brakes, we just run R33 brakes.
R33 brakes on the front?
Front
and rear you've got 33 brakes, but you also, I noticed yesterday when you had the wheels off, you had a second caliper for the handbrake.
Yep, so it's a hydro inline brake.
Yep.
For drifting like high level, we really need a hydro handbrake.
Yep.
Especially, it's more, the cables are really good for practicing and for slower drifting, but for high horsepower, high level drifting, especially with semi-slicks. You really need to hydro.
When you get that extra grip on the rear end,
Yep.
I did find that in my Super as well. I had to play on some semi-slicks. The handbrake, it becomes 3 times harder. It's not just a little bit more.
Yep.
It's so much harder to pull that handbrake on
So
when
you're really trying to reef it up, and it's not locking.
Yeah, that's it.
The only time really when it locks is you're always sideways.
Yeah.
And you're just pulling a tiny little bit to get a little bit extra. Our hydro helps if you don't know exactly where to initiate and stuff like that. So you can pull the handbrake a little bit longer.
Yep.
Just to keep that slide a little bit further, so you can go back in.
Yep.
Otherwise, you just left foot brake everywhere.
Yeah.
And obviously left foot brake pushes you back instead of pushes you forward.
Yep.
So which is something not many people know about actually. So
yeah, it's something I learned early on. I was very lucky. I got taught that from Nick Wedd. Thank you, Nick. He taught me a lot of things on the drift circuit.
Yep.
With the left foot braking, and it pulls you down into the corner, and especially if you're still using the power, it really helps on Simmons.
It does, yeah.
We actually got to compete in Calder Park together.
We did.
One year when I wrote my Super off.
Yes.
That came to a very nasty ending. I'll see if I can find the old clip for that that's on Facebook somewhere and put it up.
Seeing it.
That hurt. That hurt a lot. But now, did you get second or what did you place there?
I'm pretty sure I won the comp.
You won that comp?
Won that comp, yeah. So you, me and Andrew Holloway went over.
Yeah, that's right.
It was the second time I've ever been a quarter. So the first time was in a Corolla. It was an exhibition round. So we got invited over by AGP to come over, and that was the first time we actually got invited to go do something. So we took the Corolla over here, and they were having 2 comps on the same time. They were having the AGP exhibition comp, and what you could do if you got into the top 8, you were allowed into the other comp, which is the Formula Drift Asia.
Right.
So that was the first time competing nationally, and we ended up qualifying second.
Right.
So that was a big, like, holy crap. Like, I'm competing against like guys like Bo Yates and guys
international level drivers.
International drivers that I highlighted for years and years watching Drift Australia and stuff. So that was amazing. In my top 16 battle, I had a bit of an oopsie where I went from first to second back to first.
Instead of third?
Instead of third, because we're running a RB25 box, but it was a dog box.
Yep.
So you could go into any gear you wanted.
Right, and it still go there.
I still go there, so it accepted it. Obviously that left us, he was leading at the time, and he just took away from me.
Yep, bugger. Now you won DCA and actually got to go international as well.
Yes.
You got to go and compete over
the King of Nations event.
Yep.
So that was a DCA and King of Nations event. King of Nations came over and decided they wanted to do an exhibition round. We gladly decided that we wanted to compete. We were able to run semi-slicks for the first time. So we were very excited to try the Kumho B720s, and God, that thing was creepy. It's just totally different car.
Yep.
So we ended up actually winning the event, which was really nice. And they sent me to compete in an event over there called King of Nations in Austria.
Austria?
Austria.
Cool. So what was that like? That was like, you're not a very old bloke.
No.
To be able to get to that level and get sent to go and compete somewhere like that's pretty special.
So I was 20 at the time, so not very old at all. Yeah, so yeah, went over there and we did all the touristy stuff first, and and then we went to the track, and my God, you need 1,000 horsepower to get around it.
Really?
Yeah, so it was, you know, so Sims Plane Sweeper, you know how long that is?
Yeah.
Times it by 2.
Oh wow.
So there was apexes, so you had to go apex, out, apex, out, apex. So it was, you could just do it in the car that I had, but not really.
Right.
Yeah, so what I got drove over there was a E36 BMW 750i V8 motor in it.
Right.
With just a pod filter on it. And that was the only mods done to it. It was an experience, you know, it was fun to go around and see what the other cars are like in different cultures and different different states or different countries.
And different rule sets as well.
Different rule sets, so yeah, so what DCA is more like low powered, very close battles, very, very tight tracks.
And they've got regulations on tyres that allow only a certain amount of grip, which limits the high-powered cars, there's not really much point of having something with 700 horsepower because it only has as much grip as the car that's got 200 kilowatts.
Yes.
But then when you've got 300 kilowatts, it does help a little bit more.
Yeah.
But when you've got Matt driving, it makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
So having that sort of grip level in a massive amount of power on a track that's got huge speed in the corners, obviously, because they're big sweepers.
Very big sweepers, yeah.
That must be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, the competition was fierce. Unfortunately, the battles weren't that great because obviously with a big sweeper, there's different cars, different tyres, so there weren't really any close battles.
Right.
But it was a good spectacle to see this, like the crowd there was probably at least 5,000 to 10,000 people there.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, that's the thing about Australian drifting is they don't promote it enough, so you don't get the crowd, which is crazy because just across the river to New Zealand, they get 15,000 people to an event.
Yeah, I know.
And because
that's what I was saying yesterday, like, to you, it's like, how do they, in such a small country, how do they sustain having massive, massive crowds and everything going there?
Well, I guess they're so small that you can travel 2 hours from the North Island to get to the South Island. And well, probably more than 2 hours, but yeah. Where Australia is very out.
We are very spread out.
Yeah, especially in Tasmania. It's a very different spectacle to drifting in Australia.
From a spectator's point of view, seeing a pair of big horsepower cars, even if they're 10 metres apart, a spectator that doesn't know about drifting thinks it's awesome.
Yes.
But as a driver, like we're both drivers, when you see two drivers in lower powered cars and they're side by side, and I'm talking the tyre on Matt's car rubbing on the door of the car he's chasing, that close, I think is a lot more, it's a lot more special to watch because like as a driver, I've never been that good of a driver to be able to get right up next to someone, and when I've got that close, it's by accident. But to be able to do it with precision and drive it with aggression is a lot better to watch than 2,000 horsepower cars.
It's like, you know, it's like racing. You know, you see two guys battling out to try and get first place, and they're rubbing doors, and they're trying. Yeah. It's kind of like that. You know, so it's more of an adrenaline rush and excitement to try and get the people to like, oh, what's going to happen next? Is he going to hit? Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so the more excitement you have, the more people go, wow, I love that. I want to do it one day. And that's what we've found, you know, going around Australia. Like, people come to me like, oh, where are you from? Oh, Tassie. Oh, really? You travel this far? Yeah. And he's like, yeah. Well, you know, there's people here that, you know, want to see drifting, and I want to support it as much as possible. So, you know, if there was an event going around Australia, it sucked because, you know, we love driving around Australia and seeing people, you know, come up and, you know, we have giveaways and I sign stuff, and people are just so, I guess, grateful for it because you know, not many drivers at professional level like to come out and sign and
talk to people.
Talk to people. Like, I can spend half an hour talking to one guy talking about the car. And he's like just amazed at it.
It is a very big close friendship with people that do drift, I find. I love going to watch drifting, even travelling around Australia. I still go to the tracks and like went to Queensland, and lo and behold, there's Matt. And there's a lot of people that are in Queensland that I've met that have been coming to Tassie to compete or come to Tassie to run the events. So it's a very close-knit sort of group, even across a country as big as Australia. This is the final question. 10 years from now. 10 years from now, you'll be in your 30s.
God,
it's a big question.
It's a very big question.
Will you still be drifting?
Do
you reckon?
I'm going to be drifting till the day I die. I'm hoping to be in my hundreds.
Right.
You know,
so do you have plans of wanting to get over to compete in the big leagues in America or the big sponsored deals over there?
That's the dream. You know, it's you know, it's everyone's dream, like competing professionally, to get sponsored to just drive drift cars. Or make a living out of driving cars. Not many people can do it because obviously there's not enough sponsors. There's only a handful of people that actually, you know, live and breathe and actually can drive day-to-day drift cars. We still love doing it. Like, we work our arse off 5 days a week just to drive maybe once a month.
Yep.
But at
if that at the moment.
If that at the moment, but that one day a month, you know, it excites you for the next 30 or 29 days.
It definitely makes it worthwhile.
Oh,
for sure.
Yeah, you live and breathe it. So, you know, in 10 years, I'd be loving to do America or Ireland or wherever it might take me. You know, there might be a new series in Europe. Oh, well, there is a new series coming out called Drift Masters, and that is getting some bloody legs behind it.
Yep.
You know, the likes of James Dean, Peter, what's his last name? The guy, Warehouse guy, like guys from America are starting to go over there because, you know, it's crazy. So there's three or four big events around the world.
Yep.
And it's hard just to pick one where you want to be, but there could be, who knows, you might be in Australia in 10 years and it becomes one of the World Series like it is, like it just needs legs behind it.
Now, when we were at Calder, there was also, was it Chelsea Denova?
Yeah, Chelsea Denova
came there.
And
did you get a chance to battle against him?
I did. We
was it in comp or was it in practice?
It was in comp. So
it was in comp?
It was in comp. We were actually battling for first and second.
Right.
Unfortunately, his car blew up, and so he had to drive another guy's car.
Yep.
Which he did bloody well. But yeah, so Chelsea Nova came over as well as Matt Field, which was amazing to have two Americans come over, and those guys are the most chill out blokes that you could ever meet.
Yeah, they were cool.
Very humble and very thankful, but also very chill, and just anyone could talk to them, anyone could go and go, hey man, how you going? And they'd chat for half an hour or 20 minutes or whatever, how long you want, just about anything.
Yep.
So it was really cool to meet some of the guys that DCA bring over. You know?
Yeah, no, that was a big thing for me as well to see that, and I was like, oh wow, these guys are like, they're at the top of the list of sponsored drivers in America. Like they're really up there. I think they might have been at a bit of a disadvantage with the DCA type rules with lower powered cars and less grip.
Yeah, especially
to what they normally would drive.
Yeah, especially being borrowed cars.
Never driven before. And driving on the other side of the car as well.
Yeah. Well, I know how it feels,
oh yeah, you had to drive a car for right-hand drive, left-hand drive, didn't you?
Yeah, twice. Yeah, so first to BMW, then went to Greece last year. Yep. And drove a left-hand drive RX-7 convertible.
Right.
With an RV25 in it. That was slowly losing power over the weekend. But managed to come third in the event. So that was pretty amazing, actually.
I really hope drifting does take a turn and start growing more in Australia, because drivers like yourself, and there's a lot of others that are really, really highly skilled drivers, that I think if brands actually seen the benefit of what they can advertise with this, people will start flocking to it. Sponsors will start flocking to it, and money will start going into it and become a lot better than what it is.
Like DCA is an amazing event. It just needs that backing behind it, really, to try and get some people out here. So I mean, they do it all off their own back. There's no sponsorship for the series. So yeah, it's crazy, but Luke and Tiana pull it off every time. So
yeah, they're doing a great job, and if it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be a national series, or there wouldn't have been recently.
No.
And there wouldn't even really, the way things are going here in Tassie, there wouldn't be any state series here in Tassie for us to compete with.
No, so Drift of Tasmania's done an amazing job of what they've got.
Yep.
Unfortunately, some higher people have decided that they can't run comps anymore.
Yep. Who in Australia and who internationally, just one person from each, would you like to battle against to see if you could beat them?
Internationally, it has to be James Dean.
James Dean?
Yep.
He's in this and James Dean in his car, or you want something with a bit more grunt than what the SR can put out?
This car with more horsepower.
This car with more horsepower?
Yeah.
And there might be something. There might be something in the future for more horsepower in this thing, but I'm not allowed to say anything about that.
No, not allowed to say anything.
There's something that's brewing in the kettle. We'll see what happens. So I'm looking forward to it if it does happen, though.
This car versus his S13 actually, because that's roughly 600 horsepower, so it's not much further than this.
Yep.
But yeah, that car is just him and that car is just incredible.
Yep.
You know, now winning 2 Formula Drift championships and IDC, and so it's just crazy. That's my dream like obviously best of the best dream to compete against him.
Now, is there anyone in Australia that you haven't battled against that you reckon that you'd like to have a crack at in an actual comp? There's one person that I know that's also a Kumho driver that you've battled against plenty of times.
Yes.
That's probably the only other person I can think of that's sort of as successful as you at drifting. But
the guy I've driven against him, but I haven't battled against him. Is Bo Yates.
Bo Yates.
Bo Yates, yes. Yep. And pretty much the other guy I looked up to, other than Michael.
Yep.
You know, being a Corolla guy and stuff like that, is just his talent behind the wheel. That A86 is incredible.
Yep.
And it was
awesome driver.
It was so different at the time, and that's kind of what our inspiration was for the Corolla, to be different.
Yep. All right, it was awesome talking with you today.
Yeah, thank you very much
for your time.
Thank you very much.
And
see you soon.
Yeah, we'll end this with some clips of Matt's successful drifting.